I've been crocheting for almost a decade and I like to think that I know yarn pretty well. But today my husband is going to buy 10 different yarns from Michaels. He's going to remove the labels and then I'm going to see if I can identify each one. So let's see if I know yarn as well as I think I do.
So I've been tasked with the job of selecting 10 different yarns. We will document which yarns they are, but then remove the labels and see if Elise can match the yarn to the appropriate label. I think we should do some things that are gonna be pretty easy, but we need to find some ones that are gonna be pretty hard. So this will be a kind of a test. How much have I learned from having a wife that crochets and knits and has all this yarn in the house? Let's see if I can put some of that experience to use and find some appropriate yarns.
Now, I could just try to guess what each yarn is, but I'm a super competitive person and I want to get a good score. And I've got a few tricks up my sleeve to help me identify each yarn. The first is my little wraps per inch tool, and this is going to help me identify what weight each yarn is. Next, I'm going to test each yarn to see if they have any stretch. This is going to be a great clue to what fiber type each yarn is. I'm also going to crochet with each yarn for a little bit just to feel it in my hands and see if inspiration strikes. This next test is going to need to be done with a bit of caution, and that's the burn test. Each fiber type reacts differently to being burned. The last trick up my sleeve is to use a little bit of water. Wool and cotton are going to absorb the water easily, while synthetic fibers like acrylic and polyester won't absorb it as well. At first, my husband was just going to hand me a bag full of yarn and another bag with the labels, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized that was a really bad idea. The labels have a lot of identifying information in them and it would make guessing the yarn way too simple. Instead, we decided that he would make a chart without identifying information like color and yardage. The chart is only going to include the name of the yarn, the fiber type, and the weight. I haven't looked at the yarn or the chart yet, so this is all very exciting and a little bit nerve-wracking, and I'm hoping that I don't make a complete fool out of myself, but it wouldn't be the first time. So let's take a look at the yarn first. I would also like to point out that this color palette that he's chosen is definitely a him color palette. He loves browns and blues and oranges, so he definitely chose these yarns. Nobody helped him. We're starting off with our very first yarn, and just by the initial feel of it, I am pretty sure it is either 100% cotton or it's a cotton blend. So let's play around with it a little bit and let's see if I'm right. So the very first thing that we're going to do is the wraps per inch test. This is going to help me figure out what yarn weight it is. I think it's a 4 weight. I think it's worsted, but let's just make sure. I got this little wraps per inch tool off of Amazon. It's a really nice tool to have. Okay, so let's count how many wraps.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
So I actually have 13 wraps per inch, and according to the Craft Yarn Council, that puts me in the light, number 3, a DK weight range. But we don't have a DK weight cotton yarn. We don't even have a DK weight yarn in the bunch. So I'm going to have to assume that it is still a worsted weight yarn. It's just a light worsted. This yarn has no stretch. This is no stretch. So this leads me to believe that it is a 100% cotton yarn. Oh yes, and as I'm working with this already, like this is cotton. I can feel cotton a mile away. It has that ropey texture. It has no stretch. I am 100% convinced this is 100% cotton. Yeah, there's no stretch at all. I'm a little nervous to do this test, but I'm also super curious. I just have a little bowl here. Hopefully this doesn't just ignite and I burn down my pretty little craft room, but let's try it out. Yeah, that is definitely burning. Oh, that 100% smells like wood or paper burning. 100%. Now I have my little water, and I'm not sure exactly how I should do this, but I think I'm just gonna dunk the chain in here and see if it will absorb. Oh yes, it is absorbing all that water. This is cotton. No doubt about it. According to the chart, we only have 2 cotton options, and that's Loops and Thread Classic Cotton, which is a 100% cotton. And then we have Lion Brand Made with Love, but this is a cotton acrylic blend. I do not believe that this is a cotton acrylic blend. I believe that this is 100% cotton. So I'm calling this Classic Cotton. We'll see if I'm right later on.
I think I need to find like a cotton yarn. I found a wool. I found a wool blend. I found acrylic. I need to find cotton, I think. And we found the cotton. All right, we're getting closer.
This is the kind of stuff that I totally geek out about. Knowing the yarn beyond the label is absolutely fascinating. Because what I'm doing right now, feeling the yarn, crocheting with it, trying to figure out the fiber type isn't magic. It's something that you can learn. I took a class with Craftsy that fits this topic so well, and they are the sponsor of today's video. The class is called Know Your Yarn, Choose the Perfect Yarn Every Time with Clara Parks. She breaks down fiber in a way that makes sense. Things like staple length, crimp, luster, and why those things matter when you're choosing yarn for a project. She walks through animal fibers like sheep, alpaca, goats, even rabbit, plant fibers like cotton, linen, hemp, bamboo, plus silk and synthetic fibers, and the strengths and weaknesses of them all. This class will help you feel more confident when you're choosing yarn for a project, whether you're shopping online, in a local yarn shop, in a craft store, or even pulling an unlabeled yarn out of your stash. Craftsy is an amazing resource for anyone who wants to learn something new or improve your existing skills. They have thousands of amazing classes in different areas like knitting, crochet, sewing, and quilting, just to name a few. And what's even better is that the first 1,000 people watching this video to click my link in the description box will get a full year of premium Craftsy membership for only $1.49. This is an amazing deal for new members only. Thank you so much to Craftsy for sponsoring today's video. This is our next yarn. It is also brown, and it also feels like a cotton yarn to me. It definitely has some cotton in it. I think I know which one it is, but let's put it to the test first and let's see what we can find out. So let's start off with our wraps per inch test here. So we have
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
and this puts us firmly in the number 4 worsted weight category. This yarn also doesn't have a lot of stretch, but I do work with a lot of cotton acrylic blends, and this does feel like it has the tiniest itty bittiest bit of stretch. But let's do a little crocheting and see how it feels. Yeah, this definitely doesn't feel like 100% cotton to me. It feels like a cotton acrylic blend. I am heavily leaning towards cotton acrylic blend, but let's see what happens when we... Oh, that one is burning much faster. This one doesn't have the same very wood aroma, and it looks like it might have melted a little bit on the end, but we do have some ash here. This further proves to me that this is cotton acrylic blend. Watch me be completely wrong. Okay, but let's see how it absorbs some water. It doesn't even want to go in the water. I have to force it in there. Yeah, it's not absorbing the water. If you can see that, it's not absorbing it quite like the last yarn did. That one just soaked it up. Everything leads me to believe that this is Lion Brand Made with Love. It's 60% cotton and 40% acrylic, and I'd bet money on this one. So here is our third yarn, and this one is going to be more challenging for sure because I really don't have an idea right now which yarn this is, so let's just start putting it to the test. Let's go ahead and do the wraps per inch test.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
So even though it has 13, and according to the Craft Yarn Council, that means it should be a DK weight, it's not. The manufacturer is calling this a number 4 because on our chart, we know that we only have number 4 and number 6 weight yarns, and this is definitely not a number 6 weight. This has a little bit of stretch to it. and it seems to be bouncing back. It's got a little bit of a halo to it. I don't think this is 100% wool. Let's do a little crocheting with it. I'm really stumped right now. I think the burn test is honestly going to be our best bet in figuring out what this is. The fiber types that I have left are acrylic bamboo blend. I don't think this has bamboo in it. I've got 100% acrylic. I've got acrylic wool blends. I've got 100% wool or polyester. And I know it's not polyester because those are the number 6 weight yarns. Let's do the burn test. All right, hopefully this is going to give us some good information. Oh, look at there. Okay, ouch, that was hot. Look at that. I hope you can see that. That's acrylic. That is super helpful to know. Okay, so this is acrylic. Now let's see how well it absorbs. Not very well at all. It absorbs it a little bit, not at all like the cotton. This one has me very stumped right now. For the yarns that we have left that this could be, Heathered Bamboo by Loops and Thread. I don't think this has bamboo in it, so I'm crossing that one off my list. I really do think that this is a process of elimination at this point. The next one is Lion Brand Heartland, and I'm leaning towards that for this skein. It's quite soft, and Heartland is very soft. Next, we have 100% wool from Peyton's, and that's not what this yarn is. Next is Lion Brand Wool Ease, which is 80% acrylic and 20% wool. I don't think that's what this one is, but I could be wrong right now. I don't think so. The other option would be Impeccable from Loops and Thread. That's also 100% acrylic yarn, but something tells me that's not what this one is. And the last is Karen. That's all my husband put on here was Karen, 100% acrylic. So that could be it. So I'm leaning towards Heartland or the Karen. I'm gonna have to think about this for a second. I'm not making a decision about this one yet. I'm going to test some of the other yarns first. I'm just going to write down what I think this one possibly could be, and we'll just go through the process of elimination.
Okay, so that's 3 down, 7 more to go. This might be harder than I thought.
So the next yarn that we have is a beautiful blue, another blue yarn, and this one has a very different feel, and I think it's because of the fiber type. Bamboo has a very cooling, sleek, soft feel to it, and that's exactly what this yarn feels like. There's also a yarn on the list called Heathered Bamboo, and I think that's what this one is, but let's go ahead and put it to the test. I can't wait to try this one. Let's start with our wraps per inch. So that was 12 wraps per inch. This is definitely a worsted weight. This yarn also doesn't have much stretch, which leads me to believe it is the acrylic bamboo blend. But let's do a little crocheting with it. Once you've worked a little bit with bamboo, it kind of has its own unique feeling to it. This one is really beautiful. That is so pretty. Okay, that's not why we're here. Heathered Bamboo has 53% acrylic and 47% bamboo, so I'm interested to see how this burns. I think that's what this is. I'm not exactly sure. Oh, wow, it's stuck to the bottom here. So that definitely has acrylic in it for sure because you've got that melting there, but it burned pretty quickly. Not a lot of ash, a little bit. And let's see how it absorbs water. Yeah, it's not absorbing it great. It's almost repelling the water, which would make sense. The name is a bit of a giveaway, but I do believe that this is Loops and Threads Heathered Bamboo. And not just because of that heathered look, it's also how this feels. If you've ever worked with bamboo, you know that it really feels nice and cool. It's very, very soft. I'm convinced that that's what this one is.
Bamboo? I did not know they made yarn from bamboo. We're gonna get this one for certain.
Now we are moving into what I think of as the most challenging phase, and that's trying to identify these 3 off-white skeins. Oh boy, this is gonna be hard.
So to make it a little more challenging, I think I need to pick a couple of different ones that are like the same color, but different material. Like maybe find a wool and then an acrylic that are pretty similar colors maybe that might be more challenging. I don't know. Just taking a guess at this stuff.
So we're starting off with off-white yarn skein number 1. I feel like this is an acrylic or an acrylic blend. I don't know. So let's put it to the test. So let's start off with our wraps per inch. We know it's going to be a number 4 because that's all it could be. Let's just make sure. It's always interesting to test each one out.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Yep, it's a worsted weight. Number 4. What's interesting is that this doesn't have a lot of stretch, not like a cotton at all. This leads me to believe that this is more acrylic, maybe even 100% acrylic, but it could have some wool in it. Let's try doing a little bit of crochet with it. I'm doubting myself now. Like, maybe this does have wool. Maybe this is 100% wool. Now that I'm feeling it, it feels a little more woolly. This is either 100% acrylic, 100% wool, or an acrylic wool blend. Now, if this is 100% wool, it's going to burn very differently than a yarn that has a lot of acrylic in here. So this is going to be very interesting. Oh, that's got to be acrylic. That's acrylic. That means that this is either 100% acrylic or it's the acrylic wool blend. This one is actually really hard. Wait a minute. That just took a lot of that water. That was not repelling the water. Okay. This is now leading me to believe that this is actually, maybe this is the wool acrylic blend. That's Woolies from Lion Brand. Huh. Up until the water test, I was convinced that this was more acrylic. But when I did the water test and I dunked it in the water, it absorbed the water. And so that is leading me to believe that this is either 100% wool or it's the wool blend, but I am leaning towards the wool blend. I think that this is Lion Brand Woolies, and that's 80% acrylic and 20% wool. And the reason why I do think it has the acrylic is how it beaded at the end, the little burn area. This is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. I just picked up the second off-white skein, and as I'm just looking at it and holding it, I think this one might be the Woolies, but we're gonna go ahead and do our little tests. So I may end up switching them. I don't know yet, but let's try this one out. This is making my brain hurt. So we'll start off with our wraps per inch test.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
There are 13 wraps per inch, but like we've seen with some of the other yarns, this is definitely a number 4 worsted. It's just a light worsted. Now this has got some stretch to it. Oh yeah, look at that stretch. This is making me think possibly that this is the Peyton's 100% wool. 1, 2, oh, I don't need to count this. Oh, this is feeling very woolly to me. Look at that stretch. This is either the Lion Brand Woolies or this is the Peyton's 100% wool. I'm actually leaning towards the Peyton's because of how it feels and just that stretch. That's the beautiful thing about wool. Now, this is going to be interesting. Let's see what happens. Oh, that was very different. I think that smells like hair burning. Yep, this is not acrylic. Did you notice how it burned and then put itself out right away? It didn't curl, and those are just ashes. Okay, I'm convinced that this is the Peyton's. This is 100% wool. Now let's see how it absorbs. Well, it is wicking away the moisture, and I think that's what wool does. I could be completely wrong here, but that's one of the beautiful properties of natural wool. I think this is 100% wool. I think so. That was so incredibly interesting. As I started working with this yarn, that stretch, the feel started to make me think that this was actually at least a wool blend. But the more I worked with it and the more I looked at how that chain could stretch, I started to be more convinced. But the burn test, that is giving me 100%, no, I won't say 100%. I'm gonna say a 95% confidence level that this is the Peyton's 100% wool. If I'm wrong, I will be shocked because I'm pretty confident. Those are famous last words, right? Oh, I'm so confident. I got this. But we will see.
So I found this worsted weight wool. So these are words I've heard before. So I think this is a good sign.
This is the time that I really wish my husband was here because he would be geeking out about testing all of these yarns and putting them through my little battery of tests. He would absolutely love this. We're down to our last off-white skein, and if I'm correct, this is going to be loops and threads impeccable, and this is going to be a 100% acrylic yarn. Famous last words, but let's test it out. So let's do our wraps per inch.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
11. So this is a worsted weight yarn. Even just wrapping this feels like a 100% acrylic yarn to me. It's got a little bit of stretch, not much. This has a little bit of stretch to it. It doesn't have that woolly stretch that the last one did. That's a very different stretchy feeling. This feels like acrylic to me. Let us see what happens when we put this baby to the burn test. That has a definite chemical-y smell when it burns. Yeah, it's basically just melted here on the end. I don't have any little ashes. And now let's put it in the water. It is repelling the water. It won't even go in the water. Look at that. I am trying to put this in the water and it's literally just repelling. It could just lay on top of the water. I have to force it down in here. Yeah, it does not, it's just repelling the water. It's not really absorbing in here much. After doing all of those tests, I believe that this is a 100% acrylic yarn. It feels like it. The burn test, I feel like confirmed it. The water test even. So I'm saying that this is the Loops and Threads Impeccable Yarn. The next yarn is one that I am so excited about. It is absolutely gorgeous, and now that I'm looking at it, I am 99% sure I know exactly what this one is. Can you guess? This definitely feels like a 100% acrylic yarn, and it's giving Karen cake right now, so I can't wait to try this one. So let's do our wraps per inch. This should be a number 4 worsted. So we have 12 wraps per inch, and that is a number 4 weight. This is definitely an acrylic yarn. You can feel it. It's very soft. It has a little bit of stretch, but let's do a little crocheting with it. Our chain has some stretch, but this is definitely not wool. There's no wool in this baby. So let's see how this one burns. Yeah, that is an acrylic burn right there. I feel like that's the telltale sign right there. It gets that little black melted end, almost like a shoelace. Yeah, and it just feels like hard plastic. Now let's see how it reacts to the water. Yep, repelling it. It won't even go down in there. Yep, this is acrylic for sure. So before moving on to the next yarn, we need to go back to this blue yarn. And I said that this was either Lion Brand Heartland or Yarnspirations Karen. This is definitely not Yarnspirations Karen. This is Yarnspirations Karen. I recognize this yarn actually. So I need to cross this one out. I'm saying that this one is Lion Brand Heartland.
So I think this would be literally the easiest one for her to do. I'm not sure there's another brand that makes these weird, twisted color ones than Karen. I think that's what it is. I don't know, but I think this would be the easiest one for her to figure out. This is getting tough now. Need 2 more. I guess I could get one more easy one. Yeah, let's get something weird just for fun.
Our next 2 yarns are number 6. These are the only 2 that can be number 6 weight, and they're both polyester. So this is the first yarn, and it's quite soft. It's obviously 100% polyester, and I have the choice between Bernat or Demi Pearl, and I'm heavily leaning towards Bernat, and specifically Bernat Blanket. But we gotta test it out. According to the Craft Yarn Council, a number 6 super bulky should have anywhere between 5 and 6 wraps. So let's see.
1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
That works. Oh, I've got some static electricity going on here with this yarn. We don't have a lot of stretch, which I would expect, but let's see how it crochets. Yep, this is a chenille yarn, obviously. It looks like it feels like it's the right weight. But this next test is going to be interesting, but I'm a little nervous about it if I'm honest. I really hope that this thing just doesn't go up in flames. Oh. Yeah, that was weird. That doesn't burn like the acrylic or the wool for that matter. It definitely has that chemical odor to it. It does have a hard little plastic at the end, but it is a little bit different than the acrylic. That's interesting. And let's put this one in the water. Yep, it does not like it. It's repelling it. No surprises there. I mean, even just taking it out, it's barely wet. Oh my goodness. I think my initial assumption that this was Bernat blanket is correct. And the biggest reason is that the colorway. This is more typical of a colorway of Bernat blanket with that marled look, that variegated look, than with the demi pearl, if I'm remembering correctly. So I'm saying that this is Bernat blanket, and I would bet money on it. So we have our last yarn, and through the process of elimination, this should be Loops and Threads Demi Pearl, but we've got to put it through the test. I especially like setting them on fire. That's a little concerning, isn't it? So let's go ahead and do our wraps per inch.
1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
So it's definitely a super bulky. This has very little stretch. It's obviously 100% polyester. And let's see how it crochets. What's nice is that I'm not seeing any shedding on this one so far. There's not much stretch here. A little bit. It's quite soft. There's not a lot of stitch definition to it, but that's okay. But let's see how she burns. That one was a really similar burn as the last one. It's not quite as hard like the acrylic. When it burns, it gets a really hard plastic end. This one definitely is hard on the end, but it's not like the acrylic. Interesting. And let's see how it does in the water. Oh, look at that. It actually is going in the water a little bit better than the other one. So it is definitely more absorbent.
So I have no idea if this is going to be an easy one to figure out between these two or not, but that'll give us 10. Let's see how she does.
You want to know what the results are?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's go downstairs.
Okay. I'm curious to see, did I do a good job and make this challenging, or did I just make this way too easy? Okay. She did good.
I'm honestly extremely surprised that I got all of these correct, but I also think this is a great way to learn a lot about yarns if you don't have the label. It's fairly simple to be able to determine the weight of the yarn. I also think that you can get a pretty good idea of the fiber type, maybe not the exact combination, but once you do the burn test and the water test and feeling it with your hands and looking for that stretch, you'll start to see, is this a cotton or a cotton blend? Is this mostly acrylic? Is this wool? Because they have very distinct properties. And I just found this absolutely fascinating. And I hope you did too. But let me know in the comment section how you did. Did you get them all correct, or were there any that were troublesome for you? Leave them in the comment section below. I hope you have a great rest of your week. Stay safe and happy stitching. The Loops and Threads Heathered Bamboo. Oh, that's scared. I thought that was a spider.